Welcome back. Joining me now is local author of a new children's book, Paisley Runs to the Store. Welcome, Brittany Bartula. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I want you to start off by telling us about this book and what the story is.
Sure. So Paisley Runs to the Store is about a small dog who goes to a pet store with her mom. She has $4 to spend, and of course she's, a little kid, little dog. She wants everything in the world. So she walks through the store with her mom. She wants things that are way more expensive than the amount of money she has, and her mom teaches her some lessons in understanding, hey, we can't always have everything that we don't have the money for, or we might not want to buy something that has the exact amount of money that we have. We might want to save some of it. So the storyline goes through and talks about all those points in a very gentle way for ages 0 to 4.
Oh, well, I am Paisley, and Paisley is me. Okay. Let's talk about your background and how it led you to writing this book.
Sure. So currently I'm an accounting professor at the University at Buffalo, and when I was in school, obviously I was an accounting major, and I was part of an honors accounting organization called Beta Alpha Psi. We put on a lot of community service events to help promote financial literacy. We would go into classrooms, we would go to community events, and we would often teach things like how to budget, how to save, what's a credit score, how do you get good credit, how do you apply for financial aid in college. And so these events ranged from children to adults, and I really understood at that point in time how large of a gap there is in education on financial topics. And so I thought it was really important to take my desire to write a children's book, as well as some of these experiences that I've had, and put them into one and make Paisley Runs to the Store.
I think this is great. I feel like you're never too young to start learning a little bit. I wish that when I was younger, I had more experience or education about financial literacy just to prepare me. And especially, being a young woman in this world, I'm still trying to figure it out,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And especially when you're not in school, there's not necessarily a lot of options. You kind of learn as you go. So this is a great start. And you published this book completely by yourself. So tell us about that process.
Yes, so the whole thing is self-published. So it was exciting because I was able to go through and decide who I wanted my illustrator to be. The dog is actually based off of my own dog, Paisley, and she did a really good job making Paisley come to life. So I chose the illustrator. I was able to figure out where I want the books printed. And what was really as exciting is that there's actually not many bulk board book printers in the United States. There's really not many at all. And so most people do go and get the books printed overseas, but I actually found a board book printer right here in Western New York. So there's a minimum order quantity to get the book self-published of 1,000 copies, and we're going to get all of them printed right here locally. So I'm really excited about that to help support a local business. Pint-sized Productions is what it's called.
Nice. Okay. Now, were there any obstacles between writing and then self-publishing this book that you weren't expecting?
Some obstacles in writing the book, I think, is trying to make sure that as you write it, you're actually writing to the level of a little child, right? A toddler. And so luckily I do have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and with my 2-year-old, I'm able to kind of figure out what types of rhymes she likes. The book is all in rhyme, and what's catchy to her and what's not, but really going through and making sure that, hey, we're not just talking about difficult financial topics in this book. It's actually fun and light, and it rhymes, and hopefully, a 2 or 3-year-old can sing it and talk about it all day long. That was really important for me, just to make sure it was catchy to them, and it was a little bit tricky at first trying to make sure that I was able to do that.
What are your hopes for the impact of this book on the children that do read it?
I'm really, really hoping that even though, this might sound funny because it's such a young age, that they're at least exposed to some of these topics. There's some studies that show that teenagers don't feel very confident in their financial education, and many adults are very, very financially anxious in the United States. And so, as you can see, and almost as you discussed a little bit, as you start in high school and you don't take that optional personal finance class and you go into an adulthood, you don't really have some of those skills that you might need. And so if we're able to start talking about that young, we're able to get this book on the bookshelves at schools and daycares and libraries, that we're able to at least start talking about it. And even if you're, 2-year-olds at the store and they really want that toy that's on the shelves and they're about to throw a tantrum, and they're able to talk through with their parents about the book and understand, hey, we might have to save for that. We can't always get everything right away. That's at least a really small win, and is really helping them as they go into elementary school, middle school, high school, and into adulthood, understand these topics better.
Now, when is this book going to be available for purchase, and where can people buy them?
Sure. So we just launched today the Kickstarter campaign for it. So I mentioned that self-publishing, especially when you have to buy the books in bulk, there's a 1,000 copy minimum order quantity. And so we are launching a Kickstarter campaign to help fund some of that upfront cost. So right now everything is pre-sale. There's options to purchase the book, and we made some very fun matching pajamas. I know kids love when they have their favorite characters, either like in a stuffed animal or on the pajamas. So there's options to purchase the combined set. There's also options to even purchase a copy to get donated to a local preschool, a local library, or if an organization wants to have a community service event themselves, they can purchase 25 books to have a classroom giveaway with a whole bunch of financial literacy lesson plans that come with it. So it's available on the Kickstarter website. You go to kickstarter.com, and then you just type in Paisley Runs to the store, and it's all available right there.
Well, congratulations on doing this all by yourself.
Thank you.
And viewers, again, if you want to pre-order the book, you can search Paisley Runs to the store on Kickstarter.com. Thanks again for coming in, Brittany.
Thank you so much for having me.